Hey guys. Okay, so it's been a doozy of a week. Like any of us who are sensitive to these energies and who have been going through it for a while, like you know what I'm talking about. This week has felt like a month. Like the things that have happened and the realizations and the dirt that's been brought to the surface to kind of clean up. It's just insane the kind of week I've had. And I know a lot of you have been feeling it too. Okay, so I had channeled some things on like the Sri Yantra about like physical time travel and more generally where in the multi-dimensional sourciness structure of the universe we're located. But I'm going to take more time to digest that because also I don't know if we're ready for physical time travel either, and I don't want to do anything for selfish reasons, and I just want to process all that a little bit more. So anyway, so they said the more pertinent thing now is about 5 moving to 6. So 5 is both an open portal, like core, which contains life, R, that projects and starts to turn. We have to see how the film is fed into the projector. Okay, so I remember this video, and I don't remember what channel it was on, or, who it was, but it was like this busy kind of a city, and they were like sitting by their window, and it was like a very like old school kind of city, and there were like trains or cars or little like things going by, and it was just very like it was like this pop 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 pop, pop like steampunk fairy kind of energy, and it was just like, so this is what they're showing me to kind of explain what we are and where we're in this phase, as meaning the 144. I know there's been 10,000 things channeled on what the 144 are, but this is what they said. They said it's all the same thing. 144, 1,444. Like it could be 14,400,044. They were like, it doesn't matter. Like, this is what we are. Like, if you imagine this projector, we've all been loving this projector metaphor. But if you look into, like, the engineering of an old-school projector, the way they pull the film across the front of where the light is being projected, it's like a little arm that pulls it down, 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 so it looks like it's actually moving forward to you. So that's what they're explaining that we're doing. Like our Kundalini fire journey, our journey from like 3D to 5D and 5D to 3D and 5D to 3D is like we are the arm pulling the projector back. So anyone who the 144 resonates for, that is what they're saying we are being right now. We are the arm pulling it down. And obviously, when you're bringing something new into something old and dirty, it's going to, push up a lot of dust and dirt and things that we have to clear. Okay, so then they said 6 is the curving of the energy into the lens, which mirror merges and projects the frequency out. So then I started asking questions. So what is the film reel that holds the film in this example? And then they got all deep. It is beauty. It is source structure. Your geometries cannot describe it. Energy waves designed by the engineer. And I was like, well, is there anything else we should know about the transition from 5 to 6 or E to F? And they said, you must straighten yourself. Pull yourself up to ascend. And I asked what is meant by this. They were like, your posture, your behaviors, your joy. Then I said, but if we're writing our own realities, why must we do anything? And they were like, we do not care if you travel up or down. And then I was like, is down a position which contains more contrast? And they were like, yes. I was like, oh, thank you. And then I was like, does down also contain more gravity or love? And they were like, you do not fully understand that relationship yet. And I was like, what relationship? The relationship of, like, becoming one? They were like, yes. They said, you are always becoming one. But there must be higher gravity. Oh, this is me asking again. There must be higher gravity when you're closer to source, isn't there? And they were like, yes, but everything ends up balancing. And I thought about it, and I was like, well, is it really all about the journey? And then they said, like kind of inferring what I was talking about, like, we believe that you would prefer the longer path. Then I thought about that. I was like, I agree. And then I was like, have I experienced 2D? Am I experiencing it now? Because like that's something I've always wondered. And they were like, so imagine your life as a film strip. So I have to tell you about my father. My father had a drug trip in his adult life. Sorry. He was like in my grandmother's house in Florida. Like this has got to be, he must have been 50 already, probably, or almost 50. And it was like the synthetic marijuana. I forget the name for that. And he said, like, because it's kind of a flash. It's a very quick trip, but it's very vivid. So he said what he saw. It was like, he was like in the video for Take On Me, where it's like a black and white film strip that you're kind of in, and everything is like 2D and black and white. And I was like, well, that doesn't seem so unpleasant. And then they were like reminding me of what Abraham Hicks said about like, you know, you don't, when you go on vacation, you don't just like skip the vacation because your final destination is back where you started. You want to go on the trip for the journey, you know? And I was like, well, I don't know if I would call 3D a vacation. And then they were like, your experience has been harder than others, not because you descended, but because you are being asked to take on multiple roles at once without much preparation. They said, some species spend thousands of years preparing for ascension and integration. You humans did it in 6 years. So they meant since 2012. Imagine packing for a journey that you didn't know you were taking and you have to leave now. Well, that kind of makes sense. It's like, well, if one part of me wants to experience going down to 2D and then straight back to source after I die, can I fractal my soul when I die to do that? And they were like, yes. I was like, thank you. And I was like, would that be a problem for the ascending part of me? And then they said, the size of the droplet or the direction from which it comes is insignificant to the Creator. And then I said, would my ascending soul be less powerful if I were to do that? And then they said, all souls have the same potential for power. And they put power in quotes. So basically, no, you wouldn't lose power. So I was like, cool, thank you. And then I was like, why in this drawing, and I meant this awful little thing I did here with the R and the 5. And he's like, why is it like overlapping itself? Did I screw that up? Like, is the one on the right a much better example? And then they were like, no, you've been guided to do that. Like, you've been guided to make it messier on purpose. It's supposed to overlap. This is what makes the movie more interesting. He's like, oh, cool. And then, is there anything new you can tell us that will help with this ascension? And then they said, enjoy. It's about to get surprisingly and joyfully weirder. And yeah, so weirder and more alive. And finally, we're going to be on to 6 next. Okay. Thanks for listening. Love you. Feel better, guys. I know I need that too. Mwah. Bye.